Welcome to the Monday Monologue. Well, time for another one of my rants. One of the things that's driving me crazy, and I know I just need to let this go and not let it get to me like it does, but these guys that all they do is run sims on tube circuits. And the thing that drives me crazy about it is that tube circuits and the devices that are operated by them, they're not just cut and dry like it is with transistor circuits. And especially when these guys are trying to simulate how an output transformer works, or how a power transformer works, or like putting a choke in the system. But mainly, I think it's simming the output transformers. I just don't think that many of those people have decent models of the output transformers, because the results that they're spitting out don't look anything like what happens when you're testing a real amplifier as it's built. And like, I had someone that went in and was critiquing my 6SQ7 amp. And this was over on that DIY audio site. And I get some of those people are from Europe and from other countries, and English may not be their first language, but their way they talk is just so rude. And then they act like they're going, oh, I put this thing in my sim and it doesn't perform like you say it does. And I'm like, huh? Like, I'm holding the real amplifier. I've got it hooked up to an actual physical oscilloscope, and I've got a signal generator that I'm monitoring on the oscilloscope with the in and out and comparing the two. And then you're trying to tell me that, oh, here's what the square wave looks like. It doesn't look like what you're showing. And I'm like, dude, I'm like looking at an actual oscilloscope with the tubes glowing and the amp functioning, and you're arguing with me and trying to claim that I'm lying about what this amplifier does because your simulator is showing something different. And I'm like, why don't you just try building the amp and see for yourself? But they don't build anything. This one guy was bragging, you know, I've simulated over 500 tube amplifiers. What has that got to do with anything? And I can value a simulation of anything like that on the front end. I mean, I don't personally do the simulation on like the tube circuit, but I do sim the power supply, and I've shown you all how I do that on that PSUD2, I think it is. Some great software, but it's not perfect. And I've had some failures. This little amp right here is a perfect example of it. That PSUD2 was saying that I was going to have 330 volts on the plate, and I've got 360. It was 30 volts off. And yeah, I may not have entered something in the right field or something. I don't know. But I feel like these guys that are doing these simulations, they're doing the same thing. If they're not getting the same results that I'm getting from the actual amplifier in their simulation, then they've got some garbage data in their simulation or how they have it modeled. You know, because I'm not saying those simulations aren't accurate, and I'm sure there's engineers that know how to use those things, but I feel like too, a lot of these folks, like, they may have a degree in some other kind of engineering, or that they've got, maybe they're an electrical engineer, but they've never actually worked, you know, with tube amps, or they don't have enough data from the output transformer manufacturers to actually create a model, or they haven't taken the time to create a model to come up with something accurate where they can argue that their simulation is more accurate than the amplifier being tested on a bench. That just blows my mind. And in particular, there's this one guy, and I know y'all say don't let those people get to you, but it's just really hard not to. And I'm actually not even defending one of my designs. They were going after Mark at Blueglow on his KT88 build that I don't feel like I'm exaggerating saying that hundreds of those have been built. I mean, I've seen easily 2 or 3 dozen of them on one forum. And everybody that's built them, there's been a few people that have had issues with the rectifier tubes popping. And I think it's mostly from using some of the crappy new production ones, especially like those JJ ones. And, I'm running a new old stock Mullard in mine when I was running it. I mean, when I went in and spent the money, I think it was like $100 to get a really nice new old stock Mullard to avoid those problems. And I'm running that rectifier tube now in my 300B amp. And not sorry I bought that. I mean, everybody I've talked to said that's almost like a lifetime rectifier tube. You buy one of those and you'll never need another one. Anyway, so we know it's a popular amp. I've never heard anybody that built one that says that it sounds crappy. Quite the opposite. Everybody talks about how great it sounds. And then you look at the one that Mark built, and he ran the ECC85 driver tube. He said he tried some of those other ones that were in that original keger design where it showed you could roll all these different tubes. And he said, yeah, you can run those, but you have to run the plate voltage a lot lower, and it's got more distortion and it doesn't sound as good. So use this ECC85, run it up there pretty hard like it's, it can. It's under the spec. It's safe to run it there, but run that tube pretty hard. And I keep telling y'all that. You got to run the tubes pretty hard. I mean, you don't have to run them 100%, but you also don't want to run them at 40% or 50% either. I feel like you run them too lazy and they just don't sonically perform. So anyway, this guy takes the keger schematic, not Mark's, and then he puts one of the lowest plate voltage tubes in that list that keger had, pulls the plate voltage way down on it, puts a different output tube in it, and then says, oh, I ran it through my sim, and it doesn't make the wattage that he claims. Well, duh, you didn't put in the specs that he has on his final build. And if you watch his videos, maybe these sim guys, they're old school and they don't like watching videos. And if it's not printed in a paper book, they're not going to even look at it. I don't know what's going on. But he just kept arguing about it, and it's like, dude, I don't know what your deal is and why you need to start bragging about some amp that you had published in a magazine 20 years ago when it's in a thread when a guy was just asking some questions about, hey, what kind of voltages should I see in the power supply of this? And then starts bringing up, well, a push-pull amp would sound better. Nobody's talking about a push-pull amp. We're talking about this single-ended amp. And there's a reason people build it, because it's simple and it's easy to build. It's a low parts count, and it freaking works. So anyway, I don't know how you guys feel about these, I don't even know what to call them. These guys that all they do is sim stuff. And I guess that's a hobby in itself. And if somebody wants to, sit around on their computer and simulate stuff instead of building it, I guess it's no different than, I like playing computer games. Here's my little World of Warcraft Horde necklace. I'm into playing that game, so I guess it's no more of a waste of time than that is, but seems silly to me to be arguing with somebody when they're like holding the amplifier and you're going, no, that thing you're testing in your hand isn't going to perform like that because I've simmed it on a computer. Anyway, trying to think of what else is going on. Like I said, you got this project, hit a little stumbling block. Gonna have to switch gears on it. May end up being for the best anyway, and have some parts left over to do another build, maybe with some cool stuff that folks will be interested in. So saving a little bit of parts out of this build, but yeah, it's kind of a little bummer that things didn't go quite like I expected. But hey, that's part of doing this, and part of why I have this channel and I do this content is so you guys don't have to make the mistakes I make. And if you follow my final schematics and stuff, then you'll be good to go. And it's one of the reasons that I don't publish schematics when I'm going along, because things do change, and I don't want folks to be following my bomb on a project and then end up with it bombing. So anyway, hope you're enjoying my channel. Trying to balance the content being, every week or every few days like I was doing for a while, with, my personal time. And I think I've kind of found a balance that works. I hope y'all are, okay with this, content rolling out at this kind of pace. I feel like this is sustainable for a long time. Also going to be getting to the point soon where I'm going to have to start selling some of these amps. I mean, I love building them. This is a fun hobby, but I also don't need 5 or 6 different, amplifiers that honestly, there's not that much difference between them. And I think probably going to let my other 6SQ7 EL34 amp go. I sold one of them to one of my friends, but probably going to put one of those on eBay. I'm trying to figure out, that 47 amp probably is just too special. I think I am going to hang on to that. Probably going to be selling these EL84 push-pulls, but then again, they might fill a gap in my sound system that, that I don't have to drive some of these inefficient speakers. Also going to be able to start, testing some of these DIY speakers. Want to get back into building some of those. I've got another kit to build. So I think it's got 2 drivers and a tweeter, or 2 woofers and a tweeter. Can't remember what's got a passive radiator. Don't even remember. But anyway, it's up there ready to get built. And so I've got plenty of stuff to do. I have been getting more into my photography, and want to try to balance things and not get too tunnel focused on one thing, because I don't think that's healthy for anyone, mentally, emotionally, the whole bit. It's nice to have some balance and kind of get different interests and stuff. So I think y'all understand that. Anyway, again, hope you're enjoying my content. If you are, please consider going to my website, making a donation. 5, 10, 20 bucks, whatever. More is great, but even that level's awesome. Helps me fund some of these projects. Again, once I start selling some of these amps, then I can recoup some of the money I spent. But even then, I'm not beginning to recoup the time I'm putting into this. But I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't enjoy teaching y'all and helping y'all understand tube stuff better. I do want to also get back to doing some more kind of instructional stuff and explaining how tubes work and how I design this stuff and that kind of thing. So we'll get into that too. Again, subscribe if you haven't. Please like the video, and we'll see you next time around for the Monday Monologue.